accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1. To prevent calls from this facility, this call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. For more information about our privacy policy, please visit www.connectnetwork.com. After the beep, press 5 to accept this call. This call is from a correctional facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. Stay on the line to accept this call. Thank you for using GTL.
I don't consent to recording on my call. I just got a new PIN number, so now I'm able to make the phone calls, spend my day. Anything I need to know?
No, I can't think of anything. The one thing is I told you from Debbie last night. That's I'll let her know this morning that I delivered the message.
Yeah, that's not an issue. I'm
okay.
Not worried about that. At least at the moment, I'm just trying to get access to some funds to pay off what little is left on that mortgage, so that it doesn't become an issue.
Okay.
As opposed to doing a small withdrawal monthly. But got a question for you, Mr. Lamb. He doesn't have a birth certificate or a Social Security number, right?
I don't think he does. No, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't communicated with him since he had his accident. He's been kind of limited in his public, he's just so busy, right? But my understanding is he did not have a birth certificate or a Social Security number, although I think I heard him tell me that he used his Bible that they recorded his birth in to get a driver's license. But I'm not sure. He may not even have a driver's license. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, you don't even need a driver's license to travel, but I don't have one. I mean, the application for a license is not a license, and that's one thing they brought up in court, trying to, it has nothing to do with claiming possession of a weapon, but yet they brought it up. They're trying to use that as a way to claim that I'm a U.S. citizen. But if they looked at it, there's a box that says U.S. citizen, yes or no. Well, I marked the no box. And for Social Security number, I put 0000000, nothing but zeros. In other words, I'm not claiming any of that. And I marked through all the things where it says, application for this, you agree to this, and I marked through that and it says I do not consent. Marked through all that stuff just to see what they would do.
Yeah.
That was just a test, and they issued the license.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I sent it right back to them.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But it was just a test.
well, yeah, that's a very interesting. I'm glad you told me that. I didn't know. There are these groups out here, like they've got something called national-assembly.net, and it's ran by people who speak like this, right? And a lot of prisoners that we advocate for have the same beliefs. I reach out to them on behalf of political prisoners. I don't hear a word from them. I mean, it's like if you get thrown in jail, they just seem to turn their back on you. And I'm like, well, they would like to write you a letter. They would like to engage you in a conversation, but I just ain't having any luck getting their attention for people that are being unjustly incarcerated.
Yeah, and the thing is that what we're talking about is true. I mean, it's there. It's very clear, but people have a belief system that they go with the flow of the masses. But that's what Satan's always done. The great deceiver is that, and in Nazi Germany, they kept saying a lie long enough and people believed it. So therein lies the problem. But be that as it may, you got people like Trader out there. He's probably one of these hardcore Democrat, communist, socialists who is all about totalitarian government control. He worships government and corporation as his God. He won't even confirm that the fact that the original issue was that I was attacked by a deranged old man who shot at us 29 times because I sued his buddy, and he admitted to the chief deputy that he shot into the uninhabited wooded area across the street. Well, that's a crime. He's ignoring all the crimes that they're committing against us. It's like somebody comes up and attacks you, and only at the moment that you defend yourself do they want to take notice of anything. It's like you don't have a right to defend yourself. These are sociopathic morons, and of course the people he supports the pedophiles. So though he may or may not be a pedophile, You know, he may just sit there and play with himself in his basement all day for all I know, but he's got so much time to sit there and verify every bit of background information about me. He's obviously got contacts within this corrupted system. And he supports this pedophile-infested foster care system. He supports these warehousing of people. He is the lowest form of scum and vermin that there is on the face of the planet. He is not an American. He's anti-American. He's anti-truth. He's anti-Christian. He is the scum of the earth. But that's for other people to evaluate on their own. But the letter you sent me, it's clear. He does not care about the truth. You know, he sits there and relishes in the misery of others. And I'm sure that he's one of these Nazi Germans who's been, you know, kicked out of Germany, who comes over here and wants to spread his corruption. On Buck Sexton's show last night, the radio talk show host Buck Sexton, he said he talked to Trump last night. And also they talked about Kavanaugh's accuser. She's claiming she's received a death threat, but instead of asking for an FBI investigation into the alleged death threat, she's asking for an investigation by the FBI into allegations that happened, 35 years ago, that wouldn't be a federal issue anyway. It'd be a state issue. So it's basically, she's being used as a tool by the Democrat Communist Party to basically stop the confirmation of an otherwise qualified judge.
Yeah, I don't even think she reported it, right? Even this supposed crime that happened 30 years ago, she didn't report it at the time, so why is she reporting it now? If it wasn't important enough to report back then, you know.
Right, look at the they pick and choose what they do. They're not intellectually honest. They're rogue, like this Judge Girard.
You have 60 seconds.
Hey, Mike, just let me really quickly. That phrase you used earlier about he relishes in the misery of others, that not only applies to Trader, it applies to these fake Christians. It's like when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego got thrown in the fire. You know there were some people that were cheering until they realized they weren't burning up and the Lord was standing right with them.
Right. This judge stacked the deck. He had the jury already planted there. There was nothing I could do. He denied my being recognized as an ambassador. The Memphis FBI admitted that they were spying on me long before this whole thing where they're trying to frame us. And so that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Nobody gets excited about that. It's totally rogue.
Yeah.
And Girard, this judge demanded I waive a right in order to exercise a right. My right to speak for myself was denied if I requested counsel, and I didn't ask for an attorney. And therein lies the switcheroo. It's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud.
Thank you for using GTL. Hello. This is a prepaid debit call from...
It's me for just a minute. I've been moved to Omaha.
An inmate at the Douglas County Jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. For more information about our privacy policy, please visit www.connectnetwork.com. After the beep, press 5 to accept this call. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. Stay on the line to accept this call. Thank you for using GTL.
I don't consent to the recording of this call. Real quickly, I just wanted to emphasize, if you haven't tried to contact this guy, Buck Sexton, might be worth looking into. He sounds legitimate, and if he's got the ability to have one-on-one meeting with Trump, he might be able to let Trump know what's going on out here. And, you know, because obviously if I'm not getting responses from the letters that I'm sending to Trump or any of the congressmen or senators, they're holding up the mail here, and that's obstruction of justice. Also, I just wanted to emphasize, this guy Shenzi, this attorney, this professional liar that this Judge Girard, another bar card professional liar, put upon me, he prevented me from having the jury see the video of the FBI's confidential human sources at the plane weeks before the search warrant was signed by the judge from the affidavit of Montiar Zapluski, FBI special agent out of Grand Island, Nebraska. And the fact is that had they seen the door to the plane standing wide open, the whole issue of had the plane been secure the entire 2.5 months would have been blown apart right then. It would have been exposed, and if they weren't all plants, perhaps it would have given them at least a reason to say, yeah.
What reason did Shensi tell you to not show that to the jury?
Oh, he said we can't put that on because the Department of Justice is still investigating regarding the alleged kidnapping plot.
Wow.
I said, I don't give a flip about that. He's basically helping them prevent messing up their case. He's a prosecutor.
Incredible.
The guy is a former prosecutor. He was not acting as a counsel for me. He's acting as an inside operative for the U.S. attorney. He's acting as a prosecutor, preserving their evidence.
Lawyers have ruined this country. Yeah.
Huh?
I said lawyers have ruined this country. I got no respect for lawyers.
That's why the original 13th Amendment to the Constitution prohibited anybody with a title of nobility from having any public office, and all attorneys are barristers, and they're either listed as a barrister or a, what's the other?
Esquire.
Right. They have a title of nobility from the Queen of England. Their loyalty is to the Queen of England and the bar, the London Lawyers Guild. They're not Americans. They have no loyalty or faith to the Constitution or to the people of this country. They might be loyal to the bar, the Queen, and then the institution of the United States government corporation, but certainly not us. If there was any legitimate attorneys out there, lawyers, they would be falling over themselves to pick up all these cases that you've got on your YouTube.
Right,
They would be going out of their way to sue the United States government corporation for abuse of power. In my case, war crimes, because I'm a government official of another country, irrespective of recognition by this corporation posing as government. But they just ignore that.
Yeah. I got no respect. I've never met a lawyer my whole dang life that I had any respect for at all. Not one single lawyer. They're all sellouts. They all do things for money. It's self-interest, and they won't sacrifice their jobs in order to do what's right. They all have hoarded out their soul.
This lawyer that wrote the book, Fruit from a Poisonous Tree, okay, he's moved down to Puerto Rico. He could at least communicate with people up here and give suggestions on how to defeat this system and help walk people through it that are being destroyed. I mean, I bought the guy's book. A lot of people bought his book. He could make a living off of giving people advice and suggestions and counsel on how to walk through this stuff because the book doesn't do it.
Yeah.
The feds will extradite him.
Yeah.
So, and I highly recommend people to read the book, Fruit from a Poisonous Tree by Melvin Stamper. I think it's a good book. It's enlightening, but it doesn't go far enough, and there's too many people's lives being destroyed, and people are sitting back doing nothing. And to me, if you're sitting back and watching somebody's life being destroyed and you're doing nothing, you're complicit. I mean, I think all you got to do, if you're a follower of Christ or, reflective of the Scripture, go to Ezekiel. Read the Scripture. It tells you. If you see someone going the wrong way and you don't tell them, then that's on you too.
Yeah.
Because you have an accountability, because you're supposed to, and now if you tell somebody which way to go and they don't go the right way, then that's their problem, but at least you did your job.
Right.
We're supposed to be watchmen on the wall. To a degree, we're supposed to help our neighbor. And, as I have demonstrated, walking the walk, they've not taken me to trial in Tennessee. They've denied this whole issue because they don't have jurisdiction. They keep dismissing it and starting all over. 6 times they've charged me with unlawful possession of a weapon. Every 6 months they dismiss it and start all over. Why? Because they don't have jurisdiction. Okay, that's an issue that people can wrap their mind around that are, they claim to be attorneys. That ought to be something they can wrap their mind around and articulate what I'm doing to prevent them from having jurisdiction and how to get the thing dismissed. Also, the fact that I'm denied access to legal counsel without it being a bar card attorney. I don't use bar card attorneys. And the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, does not give the Constitution the power to regulate commerce between the people. That's why if you read carefully through that code book regarding the unlawful possession of a weapon to interference with interstate commerce, it clearly articulates over and over and over and over, does not apply to rifles or shotguns, does not apply to any rifle with a barrel 16 inches or longer. It only applies to 16 inches and under, and pistols in large quantities. The Congress clearly said the purpose of this is to stop the shipment of large quantities of pistols.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hey,
I was not,
Mike.
I was not buying or selling or shipping.
On your
Nothing I did has commerce on it. Go ahead.
Can you quickly remind me when your sentencing date is?
December 7th.
December 7th. Are they sending you a PSR? I've heard of these things called pre-sentence reports on what they're going to be asking for. Will you be receiving one of those?
That's what I sent you.
Oh, you sent me a PSR?
I sent you what they sent me.
Okay. All right.
Or what the Shinsi sent me.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not filling the stuff out. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, I got you. I wouldn't fill it out either.
That's why I asked if you could share that with anybody else to see if they had been given that stuff and to see how they responded. Because several guys I've talked to here that are fixed to be sentenced, they never got any of that stuff. It's like a fishing expedition. All they want.
Thank you for using GTL.